Colton, come on, we're going to be late for the movie.
What are you dressed for? I'm Captain Marvel.
Isn't it Marvel anyway? Chewie.
A little.
We went to see Captain Marvel last night. Now, I want to give you a little preface here. Lainie saw none of she watched the trailers, but she's not aware of any of the so-called controversy surrounding the film. Although I was aware of it, I went in completely open-minded. We did not discuss any of that. And in fact, we haven't discussed the movie at all, correct?
Correct.
I've made one comment to you during the movie, which was there was some of the music I thought sounded like Star Wars music from the prequels a little bit. And that was the only comment I've made about the film at all. So I'm going to turn it over to you and ask you what you thought of the film.
I thought that I really liked it. I thought that, especially at the end, she was very powerful. She was like powerful at the beginning, but she was even more powerful.
She's more in control of those powers at the end. Right. Okay.
She figured out more stuff towards the end. I really liked her as a character, whereas some of the trailers, not so much.
You didn't like her as much in the trailers, but you liked her in the movie.
Right.
Is what you're saying. Okay.
Mm-hmm. There was the part when she would like fall, but that didn't bother me as much in the movie as it did in the trailer, because in the trailer it just made her look like it didn't really...
It didn't have meaning to you.
Right.
Because it wasn't in the context of the story.
Right.
Right? It was, okay.
So
overall, as a film, as a superhero movie, or as a movie-going experience, what did you think? Did you enjoy yourself?
For sure.
You did? Okay. So would you say this is a good film, a bad film? Would you recommend this film?
I would recommend this film. I think it's a good film.
All right. Was there anything you didn't like about the film?
I didn't like at first how the aliens would like... I don't know. The alien died in the car with Nick Fury.
Right.
And then they were like dissecting him.
Yeah, there was an autopsy scene, and it wasn't that graphic, but it was enough that I saw you kind of cover your eyes, right? And I saw that you were already covering your eyes, or I would have done it. It really actually wasn't that bad, though, so, you know.
And Colton fell asleep.
Colton was asleep by that point. Colton was asleep within 5 minutes. He just was too tired. Okay. So let me give you my take on it real quick on a couple things. I enjoyed the film. I did not have the problems that most people were projecting that we were going to have. Did you like her in that character? Let me ask you that. Did you like Brie Larson as Carol Danvers / Captain Marvel? Did you like her? Did you have any problems with her? Everything good? Everything, you know?
Everything was good for me. She plays the part well.
It worked for you? Okay. And Lainie had nothing preconceived going into the film. I didn't have the problems that everybody was suggesting were going to exist with this film. I went in open-minded. I watched the film for what it was. I will say, for me, it was a little slower moving than other superhero films. However, it fit with the origin story of this character, and it also fit with the time period because this is set in the 90s, and it kind of played like a movie from the 90s, which to me is not necessarily a bad thing.
Right. So for what the movie was, that was, she can get away with it.
And it worked, right? Now I'm gonna say something that I did have a problem with. I'm gonna ask you if you did, and if you didn't, it's fine. I thought the film was it was lit dimly in parts, especially some of the fight scenes. The lighting wasn't bright enough that I could see, and also it looked like a handheld camera up close, and even if it was on a tripod or a dolly, it was so close to the fighting that I really couldn't figure out who hit who and what was. I couldn't get the choreography of the fight because the camera angle was so close and the lighting was so dark that I was a little frustrated with that. Did that bother you?
In some parts it did. For me, I could actually see them, but
Maybe I'm just getting old and it's my eyes then. So.
But I did think that you couldn't tell who hit who.
Right.
I could see the people, but I can't see who's hitting.
Right. What the actual beats of the fight choreography, I couldn't tell what was going on because the camera was so close and the pace was frenetic enough that I couldn't exactly follow that. And that happens in a lot of films, and I'm always really critical of that because I want to know what's going on. And so if I'm going, wait, who hit who and what happened, that's going to frustrate me. That takes me out of the moment. That takes me out of the film for a second.
It's like if you skip a chapter of a book.
Right, in a sense.
It's so annoying.
You've lost the storyline for a second. You've got to, and we can't go back at a movie theater. We can't rewind, so that's kind of a problem. What did you think about Nick Fury?
I thought he was very funny, especially with the cat.
Yes, very good. He was definitely a co-lead of this film. He was not just a cameo. This actually fleshes out his character. We find out a lot about him. It's very enjoyable. Samuel Jackson does a great job in the part. They de-aged him, and I thought it looked good. Because that was all. He had been de-aged for the film, and I thought that looked very well. Coulson is in there. He was used enough. He could have been used maybe a little more, but.
At first, I thought Nick Fury was serious, when he first came in, and then I was like, "Wait, he's funny?"
Right. Exactly. No. Yeah, and he was very funny, and it really worked well. Within the context of the film. I do want to say this theater was packed. People from all different walks of life, all shapes, all sizes. People laughed throughout the film. They applauded at the end of the film. I didn't hear anybody complaining. Everybody seemed to have a good time. So again...
But you would need to stay there for the 2 scenes.
Yes, you do want to stay through the end credits all the way to the very end because there is one at the very end as well. And actually, the first end credit scene got applause. That got applause from the people who stayed. I don't know if these were diehard Marvel fans. It didn't seem to matter. I thought there were people who were just general movie fans that were in there. And, I'm not diehard Marvel or diehard DC. I like good movies. Do you care if it's Marvel or DC?
I don't care if it's any brand.
Do you even know which superhero is which brand, DC
kind
or
of
Marvel?
not.
So
it doesn't really matter, though.
So you went to Aquaman, and did you enjoy it? Mm-hmm. Okay. And you went to this film, and did you enjoy it? Mm-hmm. Yeah, and that's Marvel and DC. So
at first, I didn't even know Aquaman was DC.
Exactly. So, I think she was fine. I didn't have a problem with her in the part. I've seen reviews where it says she can't play comedy. I didn't find that to be the case. I thought her sense of humor was her delivery was a little wry and a little harsh, but it worked in that character. I know people like that, and it played for me. Yeah. It worked. And
she's in a different sarcastic way.
Yes, it's that sarcastic edge, I guess, is what you actually got the right word. That sarcastic edge she was playing, I know people like that. It works for her character, especially based on the fact of it's an origin story and where she's coming from in parts that she doesn't know where she's coming from. It really does work for me. So I didn't have a problem with her. That said, all these actors, when they get into the first film, even Chris Evans in Captain America, Chris Evans as Captain America in the films now is much better than Chris Evans in the first Avenger, the Captain America film, and he was good in that. But he's so much better now because he understands the part and he's made the part his own. And I think we have to give her the chance to do that. We have to give all the actors a chance to do that.
And she's good at it already.
And that's your take on it. Mm-hmm. And I thought she was fine. So, all right. For you, yummy or crummy?
Definitely yummy.
Yeah, and I'm going to give it a yummy and suggest you go in open-minded and just enjoy it for what it is. All right? Mm-hmm. I don't know if I would say it was marvelous.